Previously on Guardians of Fehal.
Last time, our adventurers had made a plan and were sticking to it. Una, Nora, Rowan, and Hans and Frans, Josh's character, were heading back to the Merchants Guild to send some letters and take some time to regroup. After the very long and stressful date with Ulin, where they had gathered information into the First One's plan to rob the school. With that news in hand, Hans and Franz, Andrew's character, went to the academy to try and speak to Rhiannon and let her know of the upcoming break-in. As they were sitting and talking and waiting for Lady Elaine to grant an audience with them, they suddenly heard Una's voice coming from Rhiannon's hairpin, warning them of an approaching man that Rhiannon detests. And all of a sudden you hear Una's voice as you're sitting and talking to her, and it says, "Lord Fancy Pants is approaching." And then immediately, all of the color drains out of Rhiannon's face as she hears that. And immediately she starts looking around very frantically.
I
don't think you know what that means.
No, she specifically didn't tell us.
Literally, you see Rhiannon's face. Rhiannon's is tanner. Rhiannon's face literally turns the color of my skin complexion.
Alabaster white.
Like no
glow
color.
In the dark.
Glow in the dark.
So, well, there's a hedge behind us or something, or.
Yeah, but they're bigger hedges. It's like one of those manicured hedges of not like a shrub that you could jump behind. It's more of like a wall. Think of
yeah. Do I see anything behind us, or do I see this Fancy Pants?
You don't see anything, and she's kind of frantically looking around.
I'll put up my arm, and just kind of take her hand and put it on there and get up, and we'll just start walking. I'll try to get her to start walking away.
Wait, you're grabbing her. You're grabbing her hand and dragging, not dragging, but
You put her hand kind of like this, you're
on my forearm, on my forearm.
I'm escorting you around. Just a turn about the goddess.
But yeah, she looks frozen, and I'll just kind of grab her hand, wrap it we're locking arms, kind of put her hand on my forearm, and just kind of hold it there with my other hand, not tight, but try to hey, let's just start walking.
Oh, it comes underneath your arm and then is on the inside of your forearm.
Yeah, you're escorting her about the yard.
Yeah.
Give me a perception check.
Oh wait, no, I didn't create that one yet. It'll be nice, a 16.
Okay, you can see her kind of okay, and just kind of let you take the lead in this a little bit, but you can feel her hands are. She's not shaking obviously, but there is
clammy.
A little bit, a little clammy, and she just kind of walks and looks down one of the hedge, kind of the pathways.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from, if you guys are in the garden, from the right way of the path, you can see probably 30 feet away, there is a well-dressed man that is kind of looking around, and she kind of leans back a bit and then is frozen decision-making again a little bit.
Is there a way for us to go where he's not going to see us?
Not really. You could walk and then go on the left path, and then it goes straight and it has another curve in eventually. But there's not, it's kind of where there's little break-in areas where people can go sit, but then the hedges path starts again. So.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Just take one for the team. Just pull her into one of those offshoots and just start making out with her.
No.
I don't want to.
Here, I thought you were grab his head and bite his ear off.
Yep. That also works.
Just go for the jugular.
Yep.
I couldn't tell because all I saw was either a big onion or a big apple that you were just grabbing and.
Yeah, I don't have any good spells to do anything.
Let's just go left. Let's just walk.
Okay.
And she kind of keeps walking with you a bit. Let me see.
Just go into an offshoot.
I mean, I'll go to whatever side he's on. I'll go to that side to try and like block her from him.
Okay.
Because I can obviously tell that there's something with this person.
You easily identified Lord Fancy Pants.
Yep.
One single glance at Lord Rhys Eris, and
Those are some fancy ass pants.
like Lord Fancy Pants?
Does he what,
Does
Aaron?
he look like a Lord Fancy Pants?
He looks like a douche. You don't need to roll.
Wait, I've met
that.
this guy, haven't I?
Look
You have,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you actually give me a Hans and Frans, give me a perception check. See if you recognize this person.
Another one? I just did one and saw him.
Yeah, but for the what was your roll for the? Was
16
it
for perception?
from 30 feet away? Yeah, you recognize it's Lord Rhys. I was like, I forgot what you rolled.
Later investigation, maybe if you're
I'm
trying to
trying-
30 feet away, I have to roll to see if I see somebody?
Yeah.
He's got to roll to see if he doesn't just like compel duel this fool.
I was debating it. But yeah, so I see him. I'll
Yeah, you
like I said,
know,
I'll
like,
try and get on the opposite, like
Okay.
on the side of her that's puts me between them. Because since I'm obviously quite a bit larger than her, maybe I can hide her from him.
A little bit. Let's see. How swole is Hans and Frans?
The swollest.
This swole.
I've got a 3 con and a 3 strength. Do you roll like a charisma stealth check?
I mean, he rolled like a 19, so you could. I mean, there's not really other people walking around, so he definitely sees you two walking. And let me see, what would he?
Ah, Vagabond, welcome back.
Come on. And I think actually he would say, he'd say, "You there? Have you happened to see a young woman with red hair walking around?"
Refresh my memory. Does Rhiannon have red hair?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I was like, that's what I thought, but I was like,
You're like, what does this woman look like? I don't even remember. It's been so long.
I mean, it has been a very long time since you've described her to us, so I
Yeah.
remember.
Her hair
Um,
is only second to Anguide's from my
I
memory.
have not described her hair that way.
In in our language, the language of Bandaya, I'll just say, "No, Mr. Fancy Pants, I have not seen this one you're looking for," and just kind of like give him like a little quizzical look, like, "Huh? No."
Oh, so you're just speaking hashtag Wastig.
Yep, pretty much.
He like raises an eyebrow and like, let me see, what would Rhiannon do? She's kind of standing there for a minute, and then she's like, you can kind of see her reach up and like touch her like her hairpin that Una gave her a bit, and then actually like you can see her reach near her heart, and she kind of like pulls at like a necklace or something, and takes like a breath, like she's kind of steadying herself, and then she's like, "It's okay," and then she like just turns around and faces him, and she's like, "I don't want to talk to you," and he's like kind of blinks a bit, and then keeps walking forward, and he's like, "Rhiannon, I've been meaning to talk to you. I haven't seen you since the tournament," and she says, "That was by design. I don't want to talk to you. I've made that abundantly clear." And he says, "I don't understand what happened between us." And she's like, "There is nothing between us. I've made it very clear. I want you to leave me alone." And then you can see him get very irritated looking as he kind of like gets closer. And he's like, "I don't understand where this comes from. You act like an entitled little brat whenever I see you. I try to be nice to you. I give you that crown. I won that tournament for you, even though you didn't even give me your favor. I don't understand." And she's like, "I didn't ask for those things, and I made it abundantly clear. I did not want your attention." And then he is very angry looking, and he's
So I just want to let you know, Lizzie, before anything happens, I'm not letting her. This is her.
telling him go away.
Yeah. Like this is her battle. I don't need to step in and fight her battles for him.
Mm-hmm.
However, if he looks like he's about to get some physical up in this bitch, then I will not politely, but I will step forward, not to like block her, but I'll kind of like get in between a little bit,
Sure.
and then
You're waiting to. You're kind of like I'm
yeah.
giving her.
So until that happens, I'll hold my peace and just kind of.
It's almost like a V formation. Like she's here, and you step forward adjacent, and you're like, "Sir."
Yep.
He switches a bit, and instead of now being like angry, he's like, "I'm sorry. This is just what you do to me. I wish I could just understand why you're so angry. We used to be so close. I want to know who's poisoned you against me." And she still looks very angry, and she's like, "That doesn't work on me anymore, Rhys. I know who you are and what you want. Find somebody else to annoy. I don't want to see you. I will be nice to you at public events, but I don't want your golden flower crowns. I don't want your smiles. I don't want you pretending like there's something between us. I want you to just leave me alone." And getting very, very angry now.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like that fight, I couldn't punch that kid earlier, but now it's gonna come back out.
Mm-hmm.
And basically she like kind of like whips her head around like to turn and start walking like away.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually like, let me see.
If he goes to reach for her, I will reach for his hand to stop it.
Okay, give me a reflex check. You can see as she's whipping
I'm sorry,
around,
what?
he tries to, give me, not reflex, break the leg.
Yeah, I know what you want, Josh.
Give me a dexterity check just to see if you can grab his hand before he actually grabs her.
I got a 14.
Okay, you can see that it looks like he was trying to go and like actually as she like whipped around, like her hair and her braid kind of like went back. He looked like he was actually gonna grab the back of her braid a little bit.
Oh, motherfucker!
So you grab you grab his hand.
Nice.
You grab his wrist.
I grab his wrist and I just calmly say, "I don't think any physical violence is needed here, sir." Well, sorry. I'm sorry, but I don't think any physical violence is needed. You may not want to do that. Jesus.
He tries to like pull his hand like out. Do you let him just pull his hand back or no?
Yeah, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't my fight, but if he tries to fucking do that shit, yeah. But I stopped him. I let it go, and I'll say, no matter how angry you are at somebody. Oh no! Wait, hold on. Let me think about this for a second. Resorting to violence in the verbal altercation speak very poorly of the kind of person you are.
He gives you like a very angry look for one, accosting him, and he's actually like surprisingly up now that you're closer. He's about the same height as you, and he's about as muscly as you are.
How does he smell?
Like douche. Like douche. Like rich.
Like Summer's Eve? Oh, that kind of douche. Like
No.
Axe body spray and.
Yes. Both are unhealthy. Like much like Summer's Eve.
It's
also,
unhealthy.
Like him, it's unhealthy for your vagina. So stay away. And he actually like
or...
what Aaron?
Do you know this from experience? Or never mind.
What are you saying about Josh?
No, I'm talking about Lord Fuckboy over here.
Never mind. Let's move along.
Don't be speaking ill against my husband.
Anywho. So he gets he looks angry.
He gets angry, and he actually like he kind of like takes where you grabbed his hand and like kind of twists over and like digs his nails in, and he's like, "Stay out of this."
He grabs my wrist.
Yeah, he like and actually digs nails in, and
this fuck is a child.
Yeah, my nephew does that when he has a tantrum. It's amazing.
You mean he tries to grab Hans and Franz's wrist?
I'll let him.
No, he's got his hand. It looks like he actually like digs in with his nails a bit, and you actually take a point of damage from his nails digging in as he says, "Stay away."
Okay. I mean, that bothers me literally not at all.
I know, but
and I say, I will stay out of it if you keep it a verbal altercation. You want to take somebody my size against somebody her size. Well, she's very capable in her own right, I'm sure. But that she's got her back turned, it's probably the most cowardly thing I've ever seen somebody do. And now, while I just like to grab your wrist to stop you, you dig your claws into me. Like he's some sort of harpy. I think you have some real problems, sir. Maybe you should talk to somebody.
I have a few recommendations for your therapist.
I'm sorry, it's so hard to play this guy really livid and angry because you keep making me laugh in your response to him.
I'm really trying to dig the nail in.
That's because Hans and Frans is savage.
Yep.
We are savage.
He glares at you and and kind of gets up in your face and he says, "You're awfully brave. I wonder how brave you would be if your head was on a spike." And at that, like Rhiannon kind of like this is turned around. She walks like back in and like basically touches his hand and she's like, "This man is a guest here and somebody who is a political ambassador for me. Do not put your hands on him." Like, and he's what does he say to that? God, this is really hard being like two NPCs arguing with each other. Why did I do this?
Yeah, no, this is great.
Lizzie.
Yeah.
And she kind of like, she's like a slight bit taller than Nora, so she's still only like 5'6", 5'7", so she's not super tall. And this guy's like 6'3", and she's trying to like stand straight with like her full height and basically be like very queenly, like get away. And he says, "You should tell your servants to not lay hands on their betters." And she says, "I didn't realize someone better was here."
I snigger at that. I'm like, like I try to like keep it in, but it's like a.
It's a compulsory. Wow.
Yeah.
Just let a little slip.
He tries to go back to more of the gentle approach again, and he's like, "Rhiannon, I just am very confused and angry about what happened between us. When Elaine broke us apart," and she's like, "I don't want to talk about that." Like you can see her getting very like kind of getting nervous again, and you can see her briefly like look over at you, like wherever you're going with this to keep going. And she's like, "Well, I've told you, there's nothing between us. I don't care what happened. I am busy with some other important business." And he says, "You don't need a language instructor, Rhiannon, or some sort of political ambassador. I could be that for you. I was helping you before you turned me away."
I have a quick question. Did she look at me like, can you give me an assist here? Or is it like a...
No, it's more of like when he was saying like what we were, like before, like we were broke apart, like sounding like they were dating or something. There's a brief look of like whatever he was about to start saying, she got really like nervous thing and kind of like an unintentional look towards you with like fear before she like interrupted him and started
I get where you're
talking. So it was like above table. She doesn't know if you know anything. And she was kind of vague on some of the details with like Una, Nora, and Rowan. So she's kind of like, I don't know what Hans and Frans knows, and I don't really want to talk about this. This isn't the time or the place. That's fine. And he actually kind of like gently kind of lays a hand on her shoulder and is like,
I will very visibly like tense. Like you'll hear like the creaking of every piece of leather in my body as I'm like, like, I'm sorry.
I really want to snap. Can I please snap his hand? Can I please snap his hand? And she kind of just keeps looking at him like a little bit like letting him keep his hand there for the moment. And he's like, "Rhiannon, you are inexperienced. I understand why you're upset. You don't really want to ask for help, but I could be an ally to you. I could help you. I could be a guardian for you. The other lords, I'm with them all the time. They don't take you seriously. You were never expected to rule. You're trying so hard." And you can kind of see like this concern in his face, like emotionalness, like, "I can be an ally to you. We used to be so close. I understand. I know what your deepest fears are. I can help you." And she kind of like shrugs away from his shoulder touch. And she says, "I don't want your help. If you want to be helpful, you wouldn't be so possessive. You wouldn't keep following me, and you wouldn't keep doing whatever this is. Don't think I don't hear about how you talk about me in front of the lords. If they think I'm inexperienced and a coward, it's because whatever you're saying to them isn't helping make them take me seriously. I will be my father's heir. I will be Lady of the Iron Valley, and I don't need you to do it. Now leave. And he says, we're not done talking yet. She says, yes, we are. If you come and do this again to me, I will tell Elaine. She probably doesn't know you're here bothering me. Maybe she'll send you back to Feldspar for a year again as banishment.
And I'm just behind her like, ooh. No, I don't do it.
Yeah. Go, girl, go!
Yeah.
And you can see him like give her like a very leveling look again. And he's like, just always letting others fight your battles for you. And he shakes his head and he says, you know, you wield Elaine like she's some sort of weapon of protection, but you know, she might not always be there for you. You might just be a burden to her. And she's like, well, I can handle myself. And there's like a brief, like, tense off stare. And then, and after a moment, he turns around and he says, I'll see you at the festival. I hope you wear that blue dress you wore at the Harvest Festival 2 years ago. That was beautiful on you, and walks away. And as he says that, like, you can see her spine, like, lock up, and she goes, like, she had
Rigid.
color, like, she was super angry, but now she looks scared again.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, breathing and kind of, like, freaking out just a bit. Where almost like for a minute as he walks away, like you can see her kind of like very uncomfortable, very nervous, and like just kind of very silent for a few moments of like just freaking out.
Do you need to sit down? I'll say quietly to her as he's like, after he's like a bit away from us.
Yeah, let's just go sit for a minute.
That was very well done. You're very brave. This man seems to be a bully and a pig. And some men don't always seem that way, so they seem nice. And it's not just men, it's everybody. Not everybody is what they first seem. And he said some things that sound very mean. So I want you to know, if you want me to, if he goes to reach for your hair like that again, I will break his finger. But you seemed very capable, and I don't know what kind of person you are to expect from, you know, men in your company, but where I grew up, if somebody seemed to be handling it on their own, you let them do it. You were very capable in there, and you stood up to him, and you stood up for yourself, and it was very brave, and it was very nice to see you. Not very nice to see you go through whatever, you know, the things he said. But you stood straight. And it wasn't until you had your back turned that the coward tried to grab you. That's the only time it's not okay. No matter if I had my back turned and somebody was going to do it to me, I would hope you'd slap the wrist as well.
Uppercut. It's kind of weird. Like, I feel bad, but like you're talking to her, and like she's kind of like half listening.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Like it actually, like there's a moment of like you can kind of see her like kind of pulling on the bottom of her braid again, like she's thinking about it, and then when you guys look like you're kind of getting closer to like the bench to sit down, you think you see her briefly like pull out like kind of like a handkerchief, just briefly, and kind of like dab under her eyes. Mm-hmm. But she tries to do it where like, I hope he doesn't know. Actually, she wouldn't do a handkerchief. It'd be more of like a, nope, I wasn't crying.
I deliberately eyes forward.
Like pretend?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I'm not going to be like obvious and like look away like, oh, I wasn't, what's this over here? I'm just going to keep, eyes forward and keep walking.
Thank you for saying something. I wouldn't recommend breaking his fingers, though. You could get in so much trouble. In fact, you could get in trouble for just grabbing him, but thank you for doing that anyway.
Of course. I mean, what is he gonna do to me? He may be some powerful lord, but he has no idea who I am, really. I mean, obviously he knows something, because he said something about the language tutor, so he kind of knows who I am.
Well, I said that you were here as a diplomat and a language tutor. I think she did.
Oh,
say
that's right.
that.
She did. You're
Yeah.
right. She did say that.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't really know who I am, and if he did, I mean, my friends are tough. You're tough. You are my friend.
It's not that. It's more of you. There are laws about accosting nobles, and he definitely.
But he tried to accost you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm happy I was at least here to say something.
I mean, if he tries to lie, I've got the spell for that, so.
You can't put him under a spell to tell the truth. That would be dangerous.
Why is that?
Well,
I mean,
I
he
don't
was in
think.
front of, like, I guess, just like above. Is there like a judge system? Like, would we go in front of a judge if?
Yeah, you probably would have to go to like in front. Yeah, you'd have to go in front of like a law.
I mean, I would
court or
imagine
whatever.
that if some sort of criminal case comes about,
Mhm.
the judge would want whatever truth they could get. So, I'm not concerned.
She's kind of quiet for a little bit, just kind of not sure what to like say. Looks like she wants to ask you things, but she's kind of like afraid to just bring stuff up. So she just kind of is quiet for a while.
I will, what's the phrase I'm looking for? I would say in my language, sometimes I'm trying to think of how we would. I'm trying to think of like a saying that our people would have about like inner strength. I'm trying to think of something. Yeah, Josh, do you have anything that
about inner strength?
Yeah.
Probably a blade is only as strong as its core is probably something that Hans and Frans would say.
That's not like really a rival saying, but sure.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something like the smallest bear fights the hardest or something.
Oh, sure.
Like that.
Sure.
But yeah, it's something, you know what I'm trying to get at, Lizzie.
Yeah.
But I'd say that in our language.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, like there would be like a rhythm and a cadence to it as like an old saying that, you know, and then I would translate for what it means. And just sometimes inner strength means everything. You seem to have a lot of it. And then I'll just kind of silently say, if she says anything, if she asks anything, I'll respond. But until we get a response back from Elaine, I'll just sit here and let her kind of have her own thoughts.
After a little bit, she kind of says, just kind of without even like looking at you, but it's more of like a whisper. She's like, "Can we just go somewhere for just a bit? I just don't want to be here. We don't have to be gone." No, that's a stupid thing to ask. We're supposed to be waiting for Elaine. There might be a school break-in.
Of course. Well, I mean, you sent her word. She'll send word back. Let's just go walk, you know. Sometimes keeping your feet moving keeps your mind from running in circles.
No, where should we? I don't know. What do you normally do to get your mind off things?
I walk out, I swim, I run, I jump. I spar with my brother.
She actually
this is like the river goes around the school, right?
Yeah, it's on a little island.
I mean, we could go for a swim, but your dress is very nice. I don't think it would be a very good idea.
We could. She's trying to think of like what's nearby. she's like, well, if you've got an hour or two, we could go to the gardens in town to, they have like a park area. I think I have I normally keep stuff with me just so I can like get away. And she like looks like in her little purse and she's kind of like pulling stuff around. She's like, I still do have my other clothes in here. Do you want to go to the park, like outside of the school for a bit?
Yeah, we can go to the park. I hear there's a zoo nearby.
No, I actually think working out sounds fun. I kind of want to punch something really bad.
All right, let's do it.
I mean, are you volunteering to let me punch you?
I mean, I kind of like, not like look her up like creepily, but like, you know, like size her up like, I've got healing spells if I need them.
If you spar with your brother, you should be fine. And basically she leaves the school with you for a little bit. She flags the servant that was kind of walking around earlier who said, he's like, I sent word, but I haven't heard anything back yet. And she says, it's all right. I will be in the park for a bit if she needs to find me. And they're like, do you need me to call guards to go with you? And she shakes her head and she gestures to you, Hans and Frans, and she says, he's the only person I need. And then,
she obviously won't see because she's looking away, but he blushes.
She didn't even mean it like that.
He kind of like stands up a little straighter, like, let me just get this dust off my shoulder here. Like, yeah.
Yep, I can handle any I am the bodyguard. I don't need other guards. I'm fine. And basically she kind of like, there's some looks of her going off to the parks or something, but it's not too much or anything. It's not super weird. And then like once you guys get out of the school, she kind of like finds like a place to kind of like change into more of her riding leather clothes in that she's normally been around with you guys, and then you guys can go to the park and find like a place to like exercise or whatever. And she's not definitely what?
Sam.
What?
Exercise.
You do the eyebrow wiggle?
Sam's just like laughing at them.
Josh's fault.
What did he do?
I keep seeing all the stuff he's mouthing, and I'm just laughing over here.
I did a turnaround, and I was like, leather.
But it was the way you did the turnaround.
I know.
Air flip and all.
Yep. I did it on purpose.
Do you want to just break with that? We'll go work out and spar.
Yep,
for a
you
bit.
can go with. Yep, go work out. She definitely. It seems like she doesn't want to talk about it. No, yeah. She definitely like.
It's sexy.
She'll do whatever. She'll do. God damn! Like.
Even Megan turned her head at that.
She will let you. She will do whatever you lead with working out. Like running or whatever, sparring.
Well, she says she want to punch something, so I'll do like the classic, like hold my hands up and let her punch my hands and.
Come on, I'm here. Right here.
Let me do one roll and see like what her actual hit is, because she's not very strong. Ugh. It's kind of like when Nora punches you, but there's more anger in it than when Nora punches you. But it just doesn't have like
Nora ever punched him.
No, but like if Nora were to punch you, like it's like
that's what
about
I picture.
that same level. Like. Yeah.
No, so my question, is this guy based off of Prince Joffrey? Like.
No, Sam knows who he's based on.
Yeah, I know who he's based off of. No, the entire time though, during this whole conversation, when he was like, you know, you don't need all of them. I can be everything for you. I can protect you. All I could keep thinking about was Liesel von Trapp and stupid Rolf from Sound Music.
Yeah.
But I'm one of the good Germans, yeah?
All right, you guys, back to the guild. Una, you write a letter for Orin. I don't know if you've written it up and what you're going to tell him. Nope. Do you need time to think about it?
Yeah, like
okay.
Outside of game. I'll send it to you and we can record it later.
Okay. Now Josh and Sam and Aaron, like what are you guys doing?
Una's also gonna send the feather to the dandelion too.
Okay.
to get Felix.
Do you get like a servant, just some servant off the street or somebody off the street?
Like some kid that I've seen do deliveries before, like running around. Pay him like a gold and be like, hey, go drop this off here.
It's a lot of money for a kid.
A gold.
Hey, it means he'll take real good care of that delivery.
Got to pay for silence.
Yep.
Well, he could retire off of that.
Yeah.
A kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't need you running on these streets.
You there. Take this to the dandelion. Get off the street.
Like Ebenezer Scrooge once he actually had that eye awakening end of the
Day is it?
Huh?
It's
What day
Christmas
is it?
Eve, sir.
It's Christmas Day, sir.
Oh, that's right.
A wonderful child. A remarkable child. Okay, real quick, Megan, before I go back to Josh and Sam and Aaron, I want to ask you really quickly, how does Una address it? And like, what does she say in it?
Did Felix give us like an alias name to put it? Like, how did he tell us to do this? Just drop off a letter? I'm assuming he had us
He
address
didn't.
something.
He didn't. You guys just figured out, wait, Felix is at that restaurant probably, or that tavern.
He never gave us the way to contact him.
So you just know that you told him, he told you he could leave a feather at the guild with a letter from him with it. But, so you have to think of like, how are you going to address this to him? Because the feather will at least let him know whatever.
Yeah.
But, and it could say, meet your old friends, like at the crooked, whatever that bar is. I'd have to look it up. Like, how does Una want to address this? Because
she'd
know
probably
not
just
to put her
do like
name.
an F. She wouldn't even put his full name on there. She'd probably just do like an F, throw the feather in there, and be like, miss you lots. Let's meet tonight. And throw a feather in there.
Okay. Miss you lots. Let's meet tonight.
Here.
At that location?
At the dandelion. Yeah.
Or no, not at the place you met before?
Yeah.
Where you agreed to meet him? Okay. Let's meet tonight at our place. With a feather like the one Una gave you in it. I'm sending Lauren a message asking what would Felix do if he got that. Okay, so now we'll cut back to you guys.
Hans and Frans is going to the forge.
Okay.
Gotta
What are you doing at the forge?
stoke some fire, heat some iron, and hammer out some spikes.
Spikes?
Yeah, like
Okay.
like making some like 8-inch spikes with a flat top, because he's like, we need tents. Even though we got the dome, we're gonna need like legit tents, and he needs some spikes. So he's gonna craft like 12 spikes, and he's gonna put them in a bundle, and it's probably going to be like 16 pounds or something. But yeah, he's gonna make a dozen spikes that are about 8 inches long. They're for tenting, but they could be used elsewise. We don't know what the alternate uses are for yet. That's it.
Tenting, mountain climbing, stabbing, what?
Nora at this point is kind of doing that whole seeing who all needs help in order to distract herself.
Okay.
From her peers. So she is going from room to room, all of the people who are like doing things she knows how to do. So both probably in the alchemy room, she might stop in at the forge, just being kind of like, hey, does anybody need help with anything? I bet you need help with something. What can I do?
You kind of heard Yeah, the alchemist will actually kind of like be like, no, I'm all right now. Let me know if you want to go gather more potions ingredients later. Maybe not tonight. I gotta look and see when the next two moons are closer. There's certain plants that are really good to plant under certain moonlight. Close the door. Did your intervention work? That I know nothing about.
Everything turned out just fine.
Good. Did it work? Did the potion work?
We actually ended up not having to use it. So, but we have it stored away in a very safe place. Don't you worry. We're gonna be just fine. But I will make sure to let you know if it ever comes up again, okay?
Okay. Oh, by the way, just a warning. Those things tend to get more potent over time as they go bad, so it probably is only going to have a shelf life, even if you keep it in a airlocked place or low exposure to sun or anything like that and cool. It's probably still only going to last a month, and then it's going to get more and more potent, and so after a month, I'd throw it away. And remember, if you give it to someone smaller, it would probably be worse. And if you mixed it with other alcohol or anything like that at the time, just so you know. Oh, I don't know what would have happened. But
don't you worry. We will be very responsible with it. Do let me know when the next time that you're going to go out is. I'd love to go, picking some ingredients up with you.
Sure. And remember, I know nothing about the potion. And give me like a wink.
What potion?
Absolutely. Not exactly. And I haven't used them yet, but I can't wait to start using some potion ingredients with those hairs. Oh, it's going to be such a nice stabilizer. Save me a bunch of ingredients of things going bad.
I'm glad they will help.
All right. Take care, kid. See you around.
Gonna just kind of scurry off. Probably peek in the forge.
That's right, Josh. It's Mr. Steal Your Girl.
All right, so I came back, and I think I got the gist that the sleeping draft that Una put in the alcohol somehow becomes lethal when you mix it with alcohol, and she offered some of it to Nora.
No, she
No.
You didn't mix it with alcohol, did you?
No, but she did. No, but
Yeah.
she put drunk berries. She put drunk berries in it. She crushed some drunk berries up, and
that's great.
not only that, but she had Ulan have at least one drunk berry before he drank it. So
died.
I was gonna have he might not have died, but for his size. There would have probably been some con saves where actually, if you guys would have been able to get him, he might have just woken up and thrown up all over you because he was poisoned.
Dude, that's bad. That's so bad.
So but if anyone smaller, like Nora drank it, or Una, or somebody who doesn't have as high of a metabolism or whatever like that, or their body could have reacted.
Una didn't know. Una's like,
I know. And it's gonna get bad over time too. It's gonna get more strong. So,
which is awesome.
The thing is, the herbalist in the group knows what's going on, so she will relay it to you next time she sees you.
Dude, if it gets strong, we could take down a dragon with that shit.
I don't think it's that strong.
I mean, it would have to be a baby dragon and baby just hatched out of an egg dragon.
Yeah,
it'll be fine. That's fine.
Anyway, Nora's gonna peek into the forge, and she's just gonna do that head tilt in.
At this point, I mean, I don't know how long you were in there, but yeah, at this point, he's probably just
BRB, keep
stoking the fire, getting the coals hot.
She's just gonna do her typical Hans and Frans.
Oh, hi, Nora. Yeah.
I was just wondering if you needed any help with anything.
I mean, sure, I could use some help. Do you wanna try? Oh crap! I forgot what it's called. The
billows.
The bellows.
Yeah.
Bellows.
You wanna maybe try pumping the bellows here and get if I can watch the fire, it's maybe easier. You just gotta up, down, just like steak and eggs,
I can do that. Okay. She'll go over and start, pumping them and stuff and making sure that it's at a steady pace.
Okay, good.
But she otherwise stays very, very quiet.
I get Hans of Frans has a pretty high insight. Is Nora behaving abnormally in any way?
She's a little bit more stiff than usual. Like, you can tell something's on her mind, but
Like pursed lips, just staring at the bellows as she's pumping. She's not like
yeah, it's not like she doesn't look very emotional. She just looks like there's something on her mind, but it's like she's thinking way too hard about it.
okay. Hans and Frans would say, "Okay, that's good temperature. Now, can you go give me a couple of those rods from the bench?" And he's just talking about like there's probably like iron ingot rods or something.
Okay.
that
Would there
he
probably,
just-
Lizzie, would there be multiple types of rods? Like, would she have to figure out what ones are iron versus like other metals?
Yeah, because Nora's not super familiar with different types of metals. as
She
much
would
as
probably just do the whole like hold one up. This one?
Nope,
This one?
nope, one down.
Oh, this one?
Yep, I need 6
Oh.
of those.
So she'll count them out and bring them over.
Okay. So then, yeah, he'll like take some tongs and like stick them in the coals and be like, "Okay, now I am making tent spikes."
Oh. Well, we have the dome. Why do we need them?
We were in the rain for over a half hour.
You're right.
I could have put up a tarp and secured it in 10 minutes. We have
That
the
is a-
dome,
Good idea.
but other shelter in case maybe her book gets wet, or maybe she's not there. Gotta have something else.
Always good to
No.
have a backup, I suppose.
Yep.
Yes, you were right.
Yep. So, making some tent spikes.
I do want to say that I have a tent.
I-
Do you
Okay.
have 10 spikes?
Well, yeah, I bought a whole tent.
They are
Yeah.
for
Yeah, but
other
did it-
reasons as
No, I
well.
know.
Did it come
I
with
think
10
I
spikes?
think Hans and Franz wants to make them to crucify Lord Rhys with, but he
I
doesn't
didn't
know
say anything
yet.
like that.
He doesn't know
Didn't
that yet. But
say
that's probably
anything.
yeah, subconsciously.
No.
You
It's,
do you, brother. I'm just.
yeah, no. Hans and Franz. Josh wants to crucify Lord Rhys. Hans and Franz has no intention of crucifying Lord Rhys.
break
He
his head.
thinks that this divine direction of tent spikes is. I want to save myself a half hour of rain. So you kind of look distracted while you were on the bellows.
I'm sorry, was I not going at the right?
Oh no, you were doing it perfectly, and it was
Oh.
kind of like you were too focused. Nora, you're kind of you were very singular, and I know that you are, much more aware and observant of your surroundings, but you were singularly focused. So I was wondering, what are you really focusing on? What you thinking about?
I guess just kind of the plan. I talked to Una a little bit last night. We had a good talk. It was really nice. But I guess I don't know, I just feel a little weird. I'm kind of scared. It feels
What are you
weird to
feeling?
admit it.
What you're feeling weird because you're scared?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, it's
More
pretty normal
scared.
to be scared.
but like, it's almost frustrating. Scared. I'm scared, but I'm frustrated that I am. I'm kind of. It's the whole water thing.
Oh,
Having to go down into the aqueducts, possibly. I mean, if all goes okay, then we don't have to worry about it. But preparing for the worst, I guess.
And she kind of like laughs nervously. But you can see that she's like fiddling
oh
with,
sure.
her clothes and stuff, and like just trying to distract herself a little bit.
I'm tired of being afraid of water.
Well, I mean, You know, it's not necessarily any of my business, but why are you afraid of water?
I talked to Una about this a little bit too. It was something that happened in my childhood, and it was very scary at the time, and I lost something very dear to me in the water, and so it's terrified me ever since, but yeah.
So how young were you? Like 3, 4?
I was 6.
Okay, I mean that's still pretty young to have
Was it 6 or 7?
to have a traumatic experience in the water. I mean, we only had like kind of a stream where I grew up by. You're muted, honey.
You were 6. I had to do math. Okay. I'm like, you're 19. What year is it?
So, you know, growing up next to a stream, we only had knee-deep water. I mean, if I went, you know, up the mountain or down the hill, then it'd get deeper, but we didn't really need to go into the deep water. The fishes kind of did that, you know. But, that it's pretty awful that something bad happened in the water. I'm just curious, and I apologize for pushing. You don't have to answer if you don't want. But what did you lose?
And you can see she kind of just like clams up a little bit.
I don't.
Like I said, you don't have to say. I'm just curious. I'm very concerned for you. You know, you
I'll be okay.
seem hurt, and I definitely don't like to see you hurt.
I'll be okay. It's just not something I like talking about.
Then you don't have to talk about it.
I think I just need to be honest with my friends about it and let you guys know I'm scared so that, you know, we can help each other when we're down there. I don't want to end up hurting our mission of sorts, I guess. So.
And she looks a little more of like she feels like she's letting the party down almost. You know, kind of that like that feeling of not being enough kind of is showing on her face.
So I'm going to be a little honest. I'm not terribly good at making people feel better about that sort of thing. So my initial instinct, and I think Hans and Fran's initial instinct, is to try to focus your mind somewhere else again. So yep. I apologize on a player level if this is the wrong reaction.
It's actually a good thing for Nora.
Okay. So Hans and Frans is going to he's gonna kind of start a bit. The fire's cooling. Nora, can you get the bellows again? We got to heat it up once more. And he'll grab the bellows from up high so you can grab it. And okay, we need to pump a little faster. And then he tries to refocus your Nora's mind back on the bellows work. Try to get that singular focus back a little bit from the distraction.
You can see that like Nora is like she's like pushing down really hard, like trying to like get back into the rhythm of it. But once she does, she kind of takes her long bell sleeve and kind of wipes a few tears away from her eyes. But then she like looks into the fire and like that same sort of expression, but almost one with like a little bit more like drive to it, like a purpose is back. So she's not as blank as before.
Good. So then once the ingots get red hot, Hans and Frans will take tongs and go to the anvil and start working on them, and kind of in a rhythmic pattern, He's not invoking the bees or anything at this time. He's doing it el natural, kind of thinning out the ingots and making those spikes. And I mean, he's trying to kind of help Nora focus. And I don't necessarily know how a good way to work through that conversation would be.
Nora at this point would actually probably redirect the conversation towards like, okay, what else do you need me to do? Like, she would be more into the process than into talking about it at this point.
Gotcha. So. Okay. So as long as she's kind of being active, Hans and Frans will...
It's a distraction. Kind of the same way as like punching the other Hans and Franz' hands is for Rhiannon.
Right.
Her distraction is helping with things and being productive.
Let's get physical.
So yeah,
physical.
No. So so then we'll do basically while he's hammering out these spikes, he'd have Nora get the other 6 and put them into the fire, kind of like he did the first time, and he'd let her do it, or he'd try to instruct her just use the tongs to get them in the coals, and basically.
She would probably be really scared to burn herself, so it would take a while to get her.
The tongs. You stay far away from the fire. You're fine.
It's really hot. And she's just like kind of like scared, like feeling like she's gonna be clumsy and drop it, but she does.
Yeah.
Let's find out she does okay. Yeah, she does okay.
Okay. Hans and Franz. Now, this, I guess, with your permission, Sam, Hans and Franz is going to, or would, if Nora seemed all right with it, kind of like, no, this is how you need to hold the tongs, and like place her hands, and then this is how you like just the one time to like this is how you put the ingot in there in the coals, and then he kind of, it's not quite a ghost moment, but there's kind of like that helping hand sort of moment.
Nora she wouldn't be bothered by that at all. Good. It would actually probably remind her of like kind of the way that she trained in herbalism with her mother, more of like a understanding, a helpful hand, and that it's coming from a place of kind of like a positive moment, not like critical or anything. So she would be very, very fine with it.
Good. So then, basically, while he's working on those, just kind of talk to you while you're, maybe working the bellows, checking the color of the rods, that sort of thing. And
perfect. Give her a task. Give her a job.
Give her a task and somewhat, make small talk. And I think one thing he would do is kind of try to get her perspective on the plan. Like she mentioned the nervousness about keeping an eye on each other, but so what's your opinion on this whole thing with the Salkies and the first ones and Olin and Lou?
I mean, I think the plan is the best that we've got. We're kind of in a situation right now where we're just kind of running against time, trying to make sure that we beat them there first. I have to admit, I'm very, very nervous for Una. I love her dearly, and I think she's an amazing person, but I do think that she can very, very quickly put aside herself almost too much in order to help other people, and I'm just worried that she's going to end up getting herself hurt. So she's young. She still needs some time of, she's in her brave time, and so we just need to make sure that she stays safe. So I don't know if you guys have noticed it too. I know that you've said before she can be a little reckless.
Oh, indeed. I have no doubt that Una would sacrifice herself to save people. which, from where I'm from, is kind of a honorable thing to do. You know, lay down your own life for your friends and your family. So, you know, if she's doing what she believes in, that's kind of her choice to do so. I certainly don't want to see her go, but, you know, I can respect her determination for choosing a life and death scenario.
I can understand it too. I think I'm just most worried about her wanting to save people that might not be able to be saved all the time. And I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt for right now. But I'm going to be keeping an eye on her more than before.
Are you talking about Ulan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The talk within the tent that when Rowan and I were there with her, it was rough. And may I say he did not leave a very good impression. But I don't know, maybe I've got it wrong, but Una sees something in him. He's like family to her. So I can understand wanting to protect family. It's just I don't want her to lay down her life or her freedom for somebody that wouldn't do the same for her. That's not fair.
From what I understand, it goes beyond Ulan. She wants to stop her uncle and Lou and the first ones. This artifact is the first step in that. But I agree, her life as a trade for Ulan, not worth it.
I hope that she's all right dealing with all of this. The whole thing with her uncle, I can imagine how difficult that was to accept.
I don't know what that feels like. Well, I mean, maybe a little bit, but not in the way that Una does.
Yeah.
I don't have a family member that literally betrayed everything that we believe in. I just have a brother who made one mistake. That's it.
You guys are doing good at doing what you can to redeem him, though, in the eyes of your people. I hope that,
Well,
you know,
there's a little
eventually-
less in the eyes of the people and more in the eyes of the totems and the sisters. The people will, you know, accept the signs of the goddesses, but it is more or less as far as we were told, the wolf is the one that we really need to impress.
Do you know what you're going to have to do for it?
Oh,
I have a question because you guys have both said this, and I don't remember when I ever said it was the wolf that you had to impress the most. And I could have. I just don't remember.
It was from the conversation with the bear when he was telling us to
the
seek
bear
out.
said-
He said, "The wolf does not want to see you right now."
Because I know the horse didn't at all. Like the horse was super mad at you guys.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't remember saying.
the
bear
impression I
said the
got
wolf. Yeah.
Okay.
was the wolf is like, that's the last one you go after
Yeah.
because he might try to actually
Yeah.
kill you.
Well,
That's
yeah,
the
'cause,
impression I got.
I felt like I
So-
said that was the horse, but I mean that's okay because I mean the wolf is angry too. But like
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I
They're
don't.
all-
The
remember
wolf is a
saying-
carnivore. The horse just kicks real hard.
And bites really hard.
Yeah.
The horse is like, fuck you, you killed my sibling, you
The-
jackass.
The wolf wouldn't necessarily say anything. It'd just be like, you're dead.
The wolf is like,
Okay.
you killed my
That's
prey.
no bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
anyway,
I feel like it's canon now. I just wanted to ask, when did I say that? I do not remember.
Yep.
Do you know what you're going to have to do in order to make it up to the wolf then?
First, we gotta find him. We didn't even know where the nightingale was. We kind of stumbled on that one. But the tasks that the totems give us, we don't know them until we are there. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to the bee. I really hope that I get something from that. But you know, I'm kind of curious what the bee will have for my brother because he's not the craftsman.
We might have to rely a little bit more on you then, I suppose.
Maybe,
For a little
but
guidance.
the totems are his task.
Oh, I know, but guidance isn't necessarily a bad thing to accept either.
Sure.
So,
But there's going to be quite the task, and I've been enjoying the journey, spending time with my brother and learning, about the outside world. So, yeah, it's been a good time.
good. Well, I'm excited to see what the bee ends up being for you guys. I mean, I'm sure we'll probably travel down there once we have all of this mess sorted out, I suppose.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to seeing the hive. I didn't know that existed, but if it's a great forge by the totem, if it's like the Nightingale, there's probably some other people there that are not of the Bendaya, so it could be a great learning experience to push me forward. Because I'd like to know where I am as a craftsman in comparison to my own people.
Well, it'll be good either way, I'm sure. You'll learn a lot. So. But
How many of the stakes do we have done at this point?
Probably the first 6 might be done, and then he'll have you get the next 6 out so he can start working away on those. But yeah, that will probably make just an afternoon of that.
Nora will just stay in here until they're all done, just to make sure that she's not like ditching in mid-job effort.
Okay, it's too hot in here. I'm out.
I'm going. Nah, she'll stick around and make sure that they get done to good quality.
What does Rowan do for the time when Una's working on a letter and Hans and Frans and Nora are crafting stuff in the forge?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's see. Nora's busy working in the forge. Una's off writing. Hans and Frans is talking to his girlfriend. I mean,
I did want to say though, after we are done with crafting and stuff, Nora does want to go see Rowan.
Okay. So what were you doing in that hour or 2 hours they were doing stuff?
I don't think I have any whittling projects going on right
Mhm.
now. I think I finished everything, or at least should have finished everything. Need to figure out what to do with those things.
He should try to go figure out his magic. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I actually, I think he might just take the time to, I guess technically meditate. It's not, he doesn't think of it as meditating, but when he was focusing with the axe, he got some interesting visions that he'd like to learn more about. So I think if he attempts to focus on those again, maybe something will happen.
Okay. I'm gonna look at my notes really quickly. Give me a percentage roll to start with.
What is that? 91.
Oh shit. Okay. So is he trying to remember more memories from like when he was a kid, like when he was attuning to the axe and he was remembering how much he loves Nora and his family? Or is he trying to tap more into the memories that the weird other memories he seems to have?
I think he's definitely focusing on the same sort of thoughts that he was last time. But now that he has those new memories, he's trying to keep those in his mind at the same time, and the white figure, trying to see if that can sharpen at all.
Okay. So with your very high roll, you think about it and you remember the memory from before where there was like a dark wood before you and just shadow and everything, and you let yourself go back into that darkness and feel it surround you. But this time you actually, like, when you're getting lost in it and then you start feeling the sensation of like your body running, but your body feels differently when you run. Normally when you're running, it is quick and is powerful, but it's like bam, 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 bam. This time it's incredibly light feet as you're running, and kind of like looking down and taking in your surroundings like this time. Like you're running through damp grass and your feet are completely barefoot. It looks like you're like, from your vision, you're wearing some sort of like tunic with like pants underneath. And this time, like you're running around and there's light around you. There's a very hyper deep blue colored sky with a single moon illuminating the forest before you and the stars above you. As you're running, you see like a collection of like stones like in a circle before you, and there's part of your brain that knows what that is, and you're like, yes, let's go and see. And you run your little delicate feet through it, and moonbeam strikes it, and you stumble into a glen with moonlight now shining above you with 2 moons. And the sky is just muted in comparison to the vibrant colors of where you were before. And then you just continue your wild run through the woods, barefoot, hair flying, and the stars watch you from above. So it's like more detail from the last memory.
A different world? What? The one moon, that's what got me. I was like, wait, what?
Also, when you're thinking of that voice saying, let's go forward, it's not your voice.
Uh-huh.
It's a breathless female voice. Aaron is like, what does this mean?
You've given me information I don't know how to process.
You're like, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that.
No. Okay.
Yeah, that would be weird if you had like a memory and it wasn't your memory and it was like the opposite sex of what you identify. Like if I was thinking with my internal voice and then all of a sudden it was like a man's voice, I'd be like, what the? Excuse me?
Who's that?
Who's that? So
Who am I?
Who's in here with me?
when Rowan breaks out of his trance a bit, it's weird because like you start like reaching like for your with your hair, your moss, and you're like expecting that long feeling of like hair to be flapping behind you, and it's not. It's your twigs and it's your branches and everything, and then your feet, like you kind of reach down like expecting them to feel like damp and stuff, and they're wood still, like, and you're just like still kind of damp from when you guys were walking back to the guild, but like
Not
just
the same way.
It's not the same way, and you're just like, that's a weird like out of body experience. I know what it felt like to have skin all of a sudden. It was weird. Like everything felt more sharp and like things were heightened. So
Yeah.
And it was, you don't normally feel like emotions quite the same level of intensity, but when you were running through with that memory, there was like absolute ecstasy, like freedom, heart pounding, just this unbelievable feeling of like joy and recklessness that you personally have not really felt before. Like Rowan hasn't.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
unpack that. So
Okay.
where are you meditating?
I'd probably go to the bunks.
Okay. Nor you can go find him in the bunks eventually.
Yeah, Nora would just kind of be wandering around, peeking in each room that he might be in to see where he's at. Finally gets up to the bunks and peeks in.
Rowan,
Oh, hello.
what are you doing up here all by yourself?
Oh, I was meditating.
Oh, on anything in particular?
Well, I was thinking about you and Mama and Papa and all of the stuff from back home, and I told you about the white figure in my dream, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The light, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were very like vague about it, but you like whatever you could say because you didn't know much.
Yep. And I told you about the figure that I've had dreams about. I was
Did it
focused
come back?
on that as well. I didn't see the figure, but I had sort of another dream, but it felt more real this time. Like I was actually there.
Cool.
And I wasn't me, but I was a child. A young girl?
You'd guess like a teenager or above, someone about Nora or above age. Not like a kid.
Yeah.
At least by the leg strides, you're like, these are not child legs.
Yep.
Oh,
The weirdest part is that I was running through a forest and I looked up to the sky and there was only one moon. But I came through one of the fairy circles from back home.
Mhm.
And then I was running in what appeared to be this world. But I was a person. I wasn't me.
Did Nora and Rowan never went through to
No.
those? Okay.
Give me a history check though.
Because it's the same fairy circle that we saw on the
20.
road, right?
It was different, but it was similar to it's similar
It's the
style.
same kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, like
structure.
it's different. You would know it as a fairy ring of like you
Yeah.
go through this and it's like a portal. What'd you get? 20?
20.
Nora, especially because of your stories, you've never been there, but you know that your mother has said that the Fey realm only has one moon. And it is like all of their calendar is based around it and everything. Like the elves hold this one moon to be very sacred. And they speculate that's why the original Fey were drawn to this world too to explore, was because they saw it had two moons and that meant it was extra lucky.
Okay.
but we never went to the Fey realm. That's the only thing I can think of. You said you were a girl?
You used to be a woman?
No, she's more of thinking like you had skin.
I heard a voice in my head, like the person that I was in the dream was talking, but it sounded more like a girl than say a boy. And I looked down and I was wearing clothes. I had feet. My feet were wet, running through the grass. It was
You feel about all this?
different. Interesting, definitely interesting. Comfortable in some way. I don't know how. Just very different.
Okay. Well, if something like this comes up again, just let me know, okay?
Oh, I will be sure to tell you, yes.
I know that we
Look-
sent off the stones to Mama and Papa, so maybe Papa will have more insight to this. I know we were gonna talk to him about it before, but I think it's even more important now.
Yes, I agree. Was there something that you were looking for me for specifically?
Yeah, I needed my brother, and just kind of struggling right now. I'm sure you know.
And she gives him that look of you know why.
Yeah.
I needed to be with family, and kind of, I've been distracting myself all day. I've been running around place to place, helping out where I can, and it's helped, but not enough to make the pain go away.
I understand. Whatever you need from me, I'm here for you.
I know.
Did we actually go and figure out boat costs and stuff and how to get that report done? We already did
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yep, there's a boat leaving on. Let me look at my calendar. from White Tree.
Yeah.
That
I just wasn't sure if we like arranged it yet.
Yeah, you told them they could do that. It doesn't leave until. God, hang on a minute. I'm on the wrong calendar. Okay, so it leaves on the 28th day of the month, and because these are 28-day months, it would arrive on the 2nd day of the month of Faunus, which is October.
Okay.
So it's a 3-day boat ride. It's longer on foot when you guys come up that way, but on the river, it's it's longer.
Shorter.
Or it's shorter. So
Yeah.
yeah. So your parents are getting a boat on from White Tree and stuff like that.
Okay.
What is today's date, by the way?
Today it is the 16th day of the month of Rakier.
Okay.
And the festival's on the 18th. So yeah.
You got like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of want to relax for a while, but I don't
Okay.
want to be alone. So
Okay.
She's just gonna kind of lay down, kind
Yeah.
of like what she would do when she was a kid.
If
Yeah.
he sort of starts looking around. If you'd like, you could help me carve in some of my runes. It's been a while since I've touched them up.
It's been a while.
I can help with that.
Okay. Well, I've technically got 2 sets of tools that we could be using for this.
Mm-hmm. You have wood
Um,
carvers and engravers.
Right,
So.
Right. Yeah, woodcarver and carpenters. Right.
Yeah, you have the one song. Yeah, the one song gave you more of the fine details. So like
Maybe
those
we'll
would
just,
actually be
like-
better for the marks.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like Nora will draw them out and then you can carve them in after her, so that way
Yeah.
you can go as deep as you want and stuff with the markings.
There you go.
All
With
the
the
way,
markings,
straight to
Elizabeth.
the heart.
Straight, like just chop an axe in there and just like wiggle it back and forth.
I'll just make a new arm. It's fine.
You are dead.
Okay. So we'll just, carve away at my runes.
You know. Nora's just happy to be kind of like more alone with more familiarity and comfort from like childhood. So
Okay. Una, you finish your note. We'll figure out what it says later. Are you basically, I guess the short in hand, what are you telling Orin about everything that happened and suggesting him to stay in Breakspear, to come to Fehal because he has that artifact and he said they were interested in trying to figure out more about what it was? Like, what's the shorthand of what Una's thinking?
Shorthand is to tell Orin to get the artifact to the village immediately. That we may have a friend on the inside. That I think it's time to go to the elders and tell them about what's happening. And tell him I'm safe. Thank you for his gift. Tell him to stay safe. And yeah. I think those are the main points.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, stay
Not
safe.
so blunt terms. But and she'll actually probably write a letter to the elders too.
Okay. And a letter to the elders. Is she going pretty detailed with it, like everything she's learned?
Well, so Una knows that they have people that can like message her, right? Like they have like clerics or whatever that can like do sending long distance. Like be like information to report type of a thing. Please contact me whenever.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think it would be likely that they just have one cleric with 3rd level spells.
Yeah. I mean, well,
like
just something to like hear so you don't have to send this on a letter. Here's the confidential information. That way I can talk to you telepathically. I mean,
it's only for 25 words, but yeah.
Yeah. And like they have to have something be like, this is what I have, da 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 da, resend it, da 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 da.
Yeah. Probably on the ranger missions, there's always at least one person that has sending who goes with them, and then there's people on the island who are that can send, but it's a much more high level thing, and you're still going to be limited to 25 words per thing, but
no, but I think it's time to go to the elders, as much as she doesn't want to. But right now she's not going to be able to do what she originally planned to, just with the party. So
okay. After a while, I don't know where you were writing your letter. Were you writing it in the...
I'd probably be outside by the river, to be honest. I probably would not be in the guild hall. Just kind of write them all three of them. She might write something to Ulin. She hasn't decided yet, though.
Okay.
Mainly, I haven't decided yet. But
cutting... This is a good cliffhanger point.
This is a great cliffhanger.
So, cutting back to Hans and Frans and Rhiannon, you guys have probably been gone, in the park for a bit of time now, where it's 2 hours. It's probably 1 or something. And, probably getting hungry or whatever. And, it's, I don't know, you guys work out the whole time? Do you talk about anything else or something like that?
I would talk about things that I know she's mentioned about, my culture and stuff, just to try and keep on some sort of safe ground. But I'll leave plenty of room, okay, let's do some push-ups, and I'll keep quiet for a while, so she, has the urge to say something. Try and leave that open,
Yeah, she'll ask instead of asking questions about your lore stuff as much. She will kind of start asking things more about how do the Bendaya she's kind of interested in what's the Bendaya's form of government. I heard that you guys used to be more divided. How did you unite? How do you how did the tribes...
Well, my mom met this lady in a pond, this moistened bint, and she threw a sword at her.
Oh god.
Because we come see the how does that line go? Something inherent in the system.
Yeah, come see the violence inherent.
Violence inherent in the system.
Yeah, but it's she was interested in the legends, but now that you kind of are going to be her culture teacher, she's trying to understand what's your form of government? How do you how did you even
she
come
take
together?
Us down from the inside out?
No, it's much more about it's much more about she's curious to hear your side, your people's side of the story of how do they make decisions, and
I'll tell her about
leadership,
the council, and how the leader, the chief, chieftain, chieftainess, whatever it is there's a bit of who's groomed for it is obviously considered, but there's also they have to prove themselves. So essentially anybody could be the leader, but it has to be, chosen by the council, kind of.
She kind of smiles. She's but certain people probably have more of a leg up than others.
Yes. I mean, obviously I was being groomed for it by my mother, who was the current chief, but if I didn't heed her words and I just took it as my right, it wouldn't have gotten me anywhere. Then I for sure wouldn't have been considered. It's each totem looks for a particular what's the word I'm looking for?
For certain characteristics and
for certain characteristics, and if you don't meet those, well then they're not going to choose you.
So it's a form of sort of elected leaders and decision making. I suppose that would be interesting. But has the Bendaya always been that way? I always heard that there was tribe factions and
I mean, in our own individual tribes, not all of them, but some of them, you know, the ones that survived the longest, they generally had some sort of council with a leader, so that it wasn't, you know, the ones where they took it as their divine right to rule, usually ended up choosing a bad leader, well, not choosing, but
just giving that to the
giving
person.
bad leaders, and you know, a bad leader doesn't take long to bring that down. But when my parents were young, our two tribes were the last ones left, and they were fighting over this sort of like where our main village is. And back then it was like a stopover. I can't remember. Was our mom's tribe was the more nomadic one?
Yeah.
Yep.
My mother's tribe was nomadic, and they saw this area as their winter holdover. But my father's tribe had been there, you know, for a couple generations, creating. I mean, they had some nomadic people in their village, but for the most part, they were sedentary. And it came to a war, and while my mother's tribe was more militaristic, you know, better trained, my father's tribe they had more of a stronghold, you know, so they could defend themselves. And it kind of became an immovable object and an unstoppable force. And it came
I'm
to a
amazed it
point.
didn't self-destruct.
It almost did, you know. It could have easily gone that way, but the elders in the villages at the time from each tribe, you know, sort of got together and how did that go again? I'm trying to remember.
They basically, Hans and Frans probably wouldn't know all the specifics because I haven't thought of all of them yet. But they made a decision that like if they would have fought, then like any of the other,
It would have been a mutual destruction, essentially.
yeah, because then anybody who was like, because the Belmonts had always kind of been trying to get control of that part of the Iron Valley, so they would have been weakened enough that like they could have come in and like, you know.
And I'm
So they
trying to
made
remember, were our parents? Was it our parents, like our grandparents, that kind of made the decision?
No, it was. Well,
or
it
were
was.
they
it was
already in prominent positions?
your parents?
Yeah, I can't remember how young they were when this happened.
I think let me look at my count. I think they were probably in their early 20s, so they would have been in like leadershipy positions, but maybe not the chief or anything yet.
Well, yeah, for sure. But it was like these people are going places.
Yeah,
kind of
like
thing.
they
Like,
were
they
both
represent-
kind of seen as leaders of like
Mhm.
you know, there's the leader, but then there's also like the other team leader who's out in the trenches. Like they probably would have both been seen as like that person.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, like the person leader, not the leaders.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you've got the lieutenant colonel and you've got the lieutenant.
Yep.
And so I'll just kind of explain that to her, you know, and you would think that it would be hard for those two people to love each other, but parents were very good together. When I was young, when I left the village, and he like visibly kind of like stutters and like goes back and like left the village.
Mhm.
I don't remember them fighting. They were always very, very caring to each other. You know, it wasn't like something was forced on them and they were just dealing with it. They loved each other very much. You know, Dad would get Mom gifts and surprise her with them, and Mom would, you know, make sure that Dad had
all the iron ingots he wanted.
well, like the rare metal ingots that didn't really do anything for the village, but he liked working with because they presented the challenge. In that she would get out of her own coffers, you know, she wouldn't use the village's resources to get them. She would go up in the mountains sometimes for days and come back with, you know, a big chunk of ore of some random minerals, you know, some sort of metal, and give it to my dad. And you know, when I was a kid, it didn't mean anything to me, but you know, thinking back on it, they're very good to each other, and it was obvious they cared for each other, and it didn't have to be that way, you know. But not everybody's meant to be that way.
No, most. They definitely are something special, it sounds like, and an exception to most political marriages. Many don't turn out that way. But, it's good that they loved each other and that, love each other.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they still love each other.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. She's like, yes, you mentioned that you hadn't been home in a long time, but it sounds like something that's built that deep of a foundation doesn't crack easily.
Yeah, I don't think, it was, as my mother was the chief, it was sort of, she had kind of the final say on what happened with me, but, Dad was on the council. And so,
What do you mean what happened with you?
We told her what happened.
You said that you couldn't go home yet, but she doesn't know details of anything. She's like, what do you mean what happened with you?
Well, when I was younger, I made a brash decision. And because of it, I was exiled from my people. And my brother chose to come with me. And it wasn't until years later that I found out there's a way back. It's not a guaranteed way back. It's a path full of strife and struggle, but it's one I'm willing to make for my people. And
How? Wait. You can see her kind of like doing like, trying to like think back to earlier conversations. How old were you when you left? You said you've been on the road for years. You can't be much older than me.
well, has our birthday come and gone yet this year? I can't remember.
Yeah, you guys are 25.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was 25, but I didn't know if our birthday
June.
was yet to come
Your
soon.
equivalent was June, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you guys picked you're like, there was one in winter, there's one in summer that had like the specific moons that looked like the heterochromia that you wanted, so.
I was 12 years old, and before you judge too harshly, because this has come up before, I did something terrible.
But you were 12. Like,
Yeah, but when you kill one of the totems of your people.
what? You can see her like trying to processing, like, wait, he was kicked out when he was 12. I'm super angry. Like, that seems really young. Then killed one of the totems. Like, wait, what do you? Because like you've explained your totems before.
Yeah. Yep.
Like she's basically doing what Sam was doing earlier with like the mental calculations of the woman. Like
I can see like x equals the square root of the.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not even sure what to say. I feel like punching things again, but and you told me not to judge, and I'm not. This isn't going to affect anything, but you can kind of see her like getting a little like emotional. She's like, "That was fucked up that they did that. That they kicked you out when you were 12.
Now
That's a heavy burden to bear as a 12-year-old. You could have died."
I mean, yeah, but you could die any day. And yes, it at the time I didn't think about how young I was. And for some time afterwards I was angry about it.
That would be reasonable, yes.
But then I kind of came to a realization after meeting some of the other totems that, my mother was a very devout follower of the horse. And I know that my mother loved me very much. So I've wondered if there isn't a reason, if she saw something, that if I could pass these trials, maybe I could be the leader that my people need. And I'm not, I don't know if I can be that person. But I think with us talking about fate earlier, maybe this was the horse giving a nudge. Because I think if my mother really thought we were going to die out there, she wouldn't have sent us just out, the two of us. Not that it wasn't a possibility. We could have died. Like I said, we could have died in the village.
I'm not going. Don't take this wrong. She kind of looks like I'm treading in dangerous territory here. I've seen many a noble do things to their children in sake of preserving pride and honor, and I speak somewhat from experience of this, but I hope it was for love. I hope it was a sign of fate, but it could have been pride. It could have been many things. And also, personally, she's like, even if the horse themselves told me that I had to disown one of my children to have fate, I think that would be a choice I don't know if I would be able to make.
I can't imagine it was easy for her, but I also don't think you were not to justify it because it was a cruel thing to do to someone so young. But if you were, is she ever shown like faith in a deity or something?
Not really. She seemed, well, give me an insight check.
Ooh, I can add stuff to that. Not when it's a 1 though. It doesn't matter. It's a 4.
You don't think she's mentioned anything like
Okay,
religious wise?
that's
She
fine.
doesn't wear any iconography or anything like that.
So then he'll just say, I don't know if you're a follower of a deity or anything, but if your whole culture was built around a deity or a set of deities, and somebody did something that would put them all in danger, how would you feel about that? Not knowing who the person was at that age, it's.
I think it was foolish of them, but I wouldn't necessarily assume. It goes back to the justice conversation earlier. Is it really just to sentence a child to death for a mistake at 12? Is it really just? I don't really have an answer for it, and I don't want you to think I'm. I mean,
No,
I am thinking
I
a little
don't.
ill. I will be honest. I'm thinking a little ill, but this is not out of some sense of. I'm not. You probably have noticed. I'm not blindly loyal to the Iron Valley in a sense of tradition and everything. Things.
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, you don't have to apologize for it. It was and is a terrible thing that happened, but I could have toppled my people with what I did. And again, I was 12. It's hard to hold a 12-year-old accountable for that.
If the actions of a 12-year-old were enough to topple an entire people, then maybe that there's some room for improvement in making them stronger.
Yeah, but it's.
Much like how the system of government in the Iron Valley was blown into a complete flux when my brother died, who never really would have been good at leading or other things like that. I mean, things are fragile, but...
And that's true. But I think the people would have survived, but I don't know if our gods would have. And our gods mean a lot to our people.
That's true.
And
It could be
again,
hard.
I'm not standing up for them. I'm with you. I don't know if I could ever do that. If I had a son or a daughter of my own, I don't think I could do it.
Well, regardless of the political, moral justifications of exiling a 12-year-old, she'll kind of actually reach out and kind of pat your hand a little bit and look you in the eyes and say, I am sorry for what happened to you. And I'm glad that in spite of that, you're still the person you are.
Thank you. And honestly, seeing what I've seen, having done what I've done, I don't think I'd change it. My brother and I have been places our people haven't been. We've met totems that our people haven't seen. I was able to meet possibly a leader of the what's the name? What's their sort of civilization called? Rhiannons.
Oh, just the people of the Iron Valley, I guess is what you call them.
Well, we're of the Iron Valley, though.
You guys call yourself like Fehal, though. That's
true.
your name for the land. The Iron Valley was
the
the name specifically given to it after the Belmonts conquered it.
Yeah. So, it gave me a very good opportunity to meet, you as the leader of the Iron Valley, possible, hopeful leader of the Iron Valley. And if not, I've made a good friend. Sometimes that's all you need.
I think friends definitely help you get through some of the worst parts of life. Josh, what are you doing?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
All you need is love.
That's what I thought. I was like,
So let's see. You said you've met some of the totems. you've met the horse, you killed a totem, which I'm not gonna lie, I think you're a very honest person, and I know you wouldn't lie about that. I can read the emotion. It's just that's very hard to believe, but maybe that's because I'm not skilled enough to kill a totem. But as a 20-year-old, but
at her words, because it's not something he's ever actually considered.
Yeah,
he just kind of like stares off into the just kind of like gets a really far away look and is like, that is really weird. Like, how did a 12? Wait a minute.
How did a bastard orphan son of a? Sorry, I went into Hamilton.
Copyright strikes, Lizzie. Be careful.
It was 5 seconds. It's fine.
That's not what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
But yeah, he's just kind of like, he just totally zones out for a bit.
Are you all right?
Don't know. Thought about so much about that day, what I did, and what was done to me. But how would a 12-year-old kill a totem?
I don't know. I don't even know how it's possible to really kill a god, but I mean, I'm not doubting your abilities. Well, I shouldn't say that. We are friends. I am doubting your abilities.
Yeah, you should.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe something else. Was it already weakened when you killed it? Was it, I mean, you don't have to think about this. It's fine. I just don't think about it. It's okay.
No. It's good to think about it. I mean, if I just bottle it up, it's not going to get me anywhere. You got to reflect and see how you got to a place so that you can move forward. But now don't feel bad. It's something I never even thought about, but it gives me something to think on. And now I think if I meet another totem, I'll have some questions of my own.
Does that mean you're going to be leaving soon? You can kind of see her look a little sad.
I mean, eventually, but we all like it here, and we'll be back.
I suppose language and culture lessons should probably come on hold when it compared to completing the tasks of totems.
I mean, on one hand, yes, but on the other hand, trying to create a lasting peace between our peoples, I think would be the highest ideal of our goddesses. I totally missed what Aaron was just doing there.
Aaron was like looking at his wedding ring.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Plot that down.
I don't think me being gone for a couple weeks is going to ruin our friendship. So yeah, we'll probably be gone for a bit. I don't know when.
I don't know. I feel like it really, you know, she's kind of like smiling a bit like, I don't know, it could ruin our friendship. I have trouble with object permanence sometimes.
Like, because he's still kind of like staring off a bit.
Do you have ADHD or something?
She's kind of like trying to get you out of your funk a little bit.
Yeah. And when she says that, it kind of like clicks that she said, and he's like, what? He like turns and looks at her and sees her smile, and he's like, we won't be gone too long. I'll make sure of it.
Okay. You're kind of sitting and talking about this. And you see Rhiannon kind of like look around, and she's like, oh, I think Elaine wants to talk to us. Shit, I should have been preparing you on what to say, what to address. And you can see like there's just an elven person like walking towards you, kind of androgynous looking. You're not really sure male or female, and they are walking towards you, and they kind of like incline their head towards Rhiannon like respectfully, and then says, Her Grace has asked me to bring you to her. She wishes to speak. Is this everyone who needs to come? Rhiannon looks at you do you need the others?
I mean, I've got the information.
Okay, well.
So, yeah, according to Megan, nope, I'm good.
Well, please follow me. We will be leaving in 10 minutes time. They take you over to kind of like a grove of trees where it's more like private, and starts like marking stuff on the ground.
I'll lean over and whisper to Rhiannon, what are they doing?
This is one of Elaine's special mages. I think they're teleporting us to the keep. They probably didn't want us seen coming or going.
Or they're about to disintegrate you.
Either way, I'm good with it.
Okay. You want to be disintegrated?
I've made peace with my maker.
Have you?
she's like, I know you're very. I'm not insulting your intelligence. I know you're very casual with me, but you know, be respectful in front of Elaine. Call her your Grace. Call her Duchess. She's a little bit intimidating and hard to read, so don't. But she will listen to you if I'm vouching for you. And like you can tell, she's like kind of getting nervous and like don't.
She's like, oh shit, we had 2 hours and we spent it working out. Oh god.
Walking around and like talking and like
So
and she's
he literally does not seem concerned at all.
yeah.
She's like,
She's like shit. Like I'm always so casual, and she's like, and
I
then
reached out and just like put an arm. No, he wouldn't touch her shoulder because that just happened to her and it didn't go very well. He reaches out and just like pats her hand as well, like she did to him, and he's like, "It's okay."
I just don't want you to make a. I don't know. I just don't want you to make a bad impression necessarily, but yes, tell them what you told me. Remember how we met. If it comes up, and
I look over at the person drawing the circle, and I'm assuming they're obviously
they're not
engrossed in
paying
what they're doing.
attention. It doesn't look like they're paying
And
attention.
I'll give her like a very nice bow and be like, "I'll be fine." I'm trying to like show off that like I can handle
I
this.
can do this. She
Yeah.
kind of like smiles like a little bit, like that is so not natural to see you do that, but kind of nods like, "Yep, okay."
And there's definitely
Sorry.
some leather creaking and stuff as it happens because, well,
And basically the
mage.
she says, no, I was saying she's like, oh, and she like does prestidigitation to kind of like get the sweat
Yeah,
off.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
And then after a minute, they like the person who was drawing the circle, they step forward and they're like, "Please this way. This won't hurt or anything. Lady Rhiannon, you've had this happen before. It's fine." They basically take you on this, and Hans and Frans is a new experience for you.
Well,
You
that's
had
fine.
a shorter range where it was
Yeah.
within the school. This time you go from being outside in this nice little grove area to suddenly being indoors in this beautiful, like it kind of looks like a chamber where there's not a study, but there's also like glass and everything like that, and there's marks of the sky, and it looks like there's books everywhere. And it's a little disconcerting because there's also these giant black cats that look similar to displacer beasts, but not. But there's 2 of them kind of like staring as you teleport in with Rhiannon and this mage, and they're kind of like sniffing and like kind of like looking like they're like,
how big are we talking here?
probably like large size creatures, like.
Hmm.
Like kind of like they're checking you out, and then one of them goes up to like Rhiannon and like does like the head rub thing like a cat does, like, "Oh, I know you, I'm marking you." The other one is a little bit more suspicious and everything like that, and the mage bows and leaves, and standing at a table and standing next to her, Lady Seamist, her bodyguard, is Lady Elaine Eris, and and looks at you and says, "Down." I don't have names for her cats yet. Down, whatever their names are.
Zorro and Shasta.
Zorro and Shasta. No, I understand that you have some concerning news regarding the magical items locked up in my school. With an audience granted with the Duchess, will she listen to the party's warning about the potential break-in? Or will things go south? Find out next time on The Guardians of Fehal.